At Sierra, you'll always find apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. But right now, it's clearance time, so you can save even more on everything you need to get active and outside. Visit your local Sierra store today.
Started the show today saying that there's just so much to talk about, which is very uncharacteristic of a late July show. And unfortunately, we didn't get to perhaps the biggest news story. An active shooter in New York City yesterday who went into the building that houses several large firms, but one of the tenants in that building is the NFL, and attempted to go upstairs, shot and murdered several people, shot one person, I believe, who's in critical condition, who was an NFL employee. I know there was a statement by Roger Goodell that came out, and then took his own life. And before doing so, said that he thinks he has CTE and he wants his brain to be examined. And active shooter stories, sadly, are not rare. But man, you never hear this in New York City. New York is one of the hardest places in terms of gun laws.
Apparently crossed state lines.
Had to have.
Yeah. Well, I think from California, initial reports are football playing background, not in the professional ranks.
High school.
Targeted the NFL.
That's the part that's great.
It is interesting and curious that he would target the NFL, being that he never played in the NFL. Really tragic story. And to have the NFL be the tether to this, to the world of sports, it seems like a lot of the danger was mitigated, even though 4 people lost their lives. I mean, mentioned the person in critical condition that Roger Goodell posted a comment on. This could have been a very tragic situation in New York City. Yep, terrible. It's a reality of living in this country.
So
seems like a uniquely American problem that we're faced with this regularly.
Doesn't seem like it is. This is, according to the Associated Press, the note that he left suggests he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he suffered from CTE. And then he repeatedly said he was sorry and asked that his brain be studied, and referenced former NFL player Terry Long, who was diagnosed with CTE, and the manner in which Long killed himself in 2005. The note accused the NFL of concealing the dangers to players' brains for profit. So basically, ipso facto, like the NFL, which is the preeminent football institution in this country, by disguising the real impact and effects of the game, basically condones it for every other level below that. I'm just trying to make sense of what
You're saying trickle-down economics of the NFL being kind of the head of football in the country now trickles down to whatever level that this person had played at, and they blame the NFL for something that they don't know if they have.
Yeah, he came in, he shot up the lobby, double parked outside, walked in, shot up the lobby, killed an off-duty police officer who was working security named Didarul Islam. And then there was another lady hiding behind a column, shot her. And it's just an insane. He goes to the elevator bank, shoots a security guard at the desk, and then another man in the lobby. And there's no words to put into to properly describe the absolute terror of just someone walks in with a machine gun and then with an M4. What do you do? There ain't no hiding. There's no like people talk about like active shooter drills. My kids go. It's really weird having that conversation with my kids about how was school today? Oh, we had an active shooter drill. I'm like, say what now? Because we never had that when I was growing up, and for that to be just like another day in the life for them is weird. But then now you take it to someplace like to a workplace. I know it's weird. It shouldn't be more concerning because these are adults versus children, but there is like a helplessness there of what this is about, and also the full ramifications as an adult. Kids, I think sometimes they just don't know. All right, we'll just do the drill or whatever. But as an adult, you kind of know what's happening, and it's like, holy shit, what do you do? There's pictures of people barricading doors. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I'm starting to fall into a bit of a hopelessness trap when we decided collectively after Sandy Hook we were all right with that. There are a couple that really register movie theaters because you could put yourself in that.
Yeah.
Certainly this one registers a little bit too because you targeted a workplace. Schools always affects you, especially with kids. Las Vegas was one of those moments.
Yep.
I feel like where we are with the discourse, it's not even on the table for us to learn anything from this, for us to change anything from this. And it just adds to the senselessness of it all.
And there's a mental health aspect of this as well. Like, obviously, I think the proliferation of guns and particularly, again, automatic weapons, right? Machine guns. I don't know why anyone needs a machine gun.
I mean, it's a really frustrating thing because there is a consensus opinion when it comes to guns and that more should be done. And if people want to pivot, you need more good guys with guns. If people want to pivot and say it's a mental health discussion, fine. I'll meet people anywhere. I'm certainly of team do more. The majority of Americans want more being done about common sense gun reform. This does not have to be a partisan issue. If you talk to people on the right and they try to move to another place, move the goalposts in mental health, fine. Let's fund more mental health programs.
Yeah,
fine. You want to? All right, cool. I'm good with more security guards because that feels like we're doing something about it. I just hate where we are, where these things happen in the news cycle and we just do nothing.
But Mike, that's the sad twist of it all. Is like you say, it's mental health things. Like, okay, let's do something about mental health. Well, I ain't got money for that. You can't deflect the blame to something else that I think is legitimate. I think there is a mental health issue. This person clearly was unwell, right? But okay, what are we going to do about that? Well, nothing. You can't have it both. You can't say I'm gonna hold on to these again weapons of very large amount of destruction, and then say it's not the gun's fault, it's mental health, but then also we're not going to do anything
just
about mental
govern. Politicians are in place to enact the will of the people. And we have a couple of things here that get hyper politicized, and like when it comes to women's rights, when the majority of the nation is of the opinion more should be done. And you have people standing in the way, these gatekeepers that are not enacting the will of the people. Let's find some money for more good guys with guns, and fine, just do more.
One more thing I wanted to point out. I did want to highlight the police officer who was killed, the off-duty police officer who was working security in that building. His name, Didarul Islam. He was an immigrant from Bangladesh, been in the country for 3.5 years. Right, and this is from the commissioner, the police commissioner, Commissioner Tish. Quote, he was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice. He died as he lived, a hero. For all the people who are worried about Muslims taking over New York City and immigrants and all that stuff, like,
look, imagine if the victim was the victim
was the shooter and the shooter was the victim.
I imagine this gets politicized in some way, certainly by the current administration. Something gets done about it. It ain't going to be the thing that is at the root of all these problems, which is the guns.